I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Colm McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Katie Taylor here in Dublin. Katie, can you believe it's finally here?
I can nearly pinch myself that it actually is happening now. 22 fights in, I'm finally making my homecoming fight. Big time boxing's coming back to Ireland, and I'm so proud. And it's not just coming back, it's coming back with one of the best fights in boxing. Two undisputed champions going head to head. This is absolutely huge.
I spoke to your dad a few minutes ago and we done an interview, and we spoke about all the times that he brought you around as a child and pretended you were a boy and put you in fights. Did you ever envisage at that time that professional boxing maybe would ever come to Ireland and you'd be headlining a show like this?
I probably wouldn't have thought it back then, and there was even a time a few years ago where I didn't think this was going to happen. So I'm so happy that it is happening right now, and May the 20th could be the biggest night in my career. I have a chance to become a two-weight undisputed champion, and I'm so proud, I'm so happy, and these are the kind of fights that I absolutely love, and it's going to be a huge night for so many Irish fighters on the card as well.
Talk me through the emotion whenever you hear that Serrano's pulled out. What's the first thing comes to your mind at that point?
I was obviously disappointed, but I just want to be involved in the biggest fights out there, and when I heard that Serrano was out, I knew that Chantelle was obviously an obvious choice to jump in. She has a spotless career, she is an undisputed champion, and she has the style to make this another epic. This could be another fight of year contender, so I'm very, very happy to be involved in another fight of this magnitude.
It's not like you to call someone out, it's not something you've ever done in your career. What made you do that?
I just knew that May 20th was a date that was free. I knew that it needed to be a big fight. I don't use my social media much, but, so when I do use it, it obviously makes a big impact. And so I knew that myself and Chantelle were up for this, and here we are. We're talking about we're getting ready for this fight now, signed and sealed, and I just want to be involved in the biggest fights possible and the hardest fights possible.
You beat Chantelle Cameron at the EUs in Poland as an amateur. Do you bring anything from that, or is it comparing apples and pears really?
I mean, that was such a long time ago, and I can't even remember the fight to be quite honest. But it's nice to have a win over it all the same.
With Serrano, do you think that there's a possibility, if you beat Chantelle Cameron, that we could do that big fight in Croke Park? And what do you think of Conor McGregor's comments on that whole situation as well?
Yeah, it's definitely still a possibility. I still would absolutely love this Serrano rematch, and to have a chance of fighting Croke Park, our most iconic arena, would be absolutely huge. I'm very, very grateful for obviously Conor McGregor's support and all that. I don't know what's going to happen there, but my job is just to focus on the actual fighting part, and that's why I have a team of people around me. Their job is to focus on those details, where I'm just in the gym focusing on what's important and getting my head down and preparing for these fights.
I have a message for you here from Deirdre Gogarty, actually. Yeah. So she sent you a message and she said, "Katie, it is only for all the success that you have had in your career that any attention has come back to me. When I opened the door for Irish women in professional boxing, it wouldn't have meant anything if you didn't run through it. If you hadn't taken women's boxing to another level, then my world title in battle with Christy Martin would have just been for myself and not for women in the sport. I'm truly grateful for what you've done for the sport in the country, as it's only brought more eyes to all of us trailblazers. And I will end this with the same message you sent me as an 11-year-old. You've achieved so much and done us all proud. Bye for now, Deirdre." Do you have any comments to make on that?
I'm so soft, it's unbelievable. Honestly, that's super emotional. Yeah, she was obviously a pioneer in the sport, and for her to send a message like that, women's boxing wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for women like her. They're the real pioneers, they're the real trailblazers, and I'm just so grateful for women like her. And she was also a huge support to me growing up as well. I remember doing a training session with her as a 14 or 15-year-old. She was holding the pads for me, and just the encouragement she was all the way up throughout my whole career. It's one of the reasons I'm standing here now, getting ready for this big homecoming fight. So I'm so grateful.
I knew that would make you emotional, so I apologise. But just before I let you go, do you think there's an opportunity maybe to have Deirdre ringside at this big fight?
I would absolutely love that. I would have loved to have her at the last fight in Madison Square Garden. A few of the women were there, like Layla Ali and Christy Martin, and unfortunately Deirdre Gogarty couldn't make it, so it would be absolutely epic if she could make this one. Yeah, she's one of my heroes growing up, and to have one of my heroes there ringside would be a dream come true.
Well, Katie, thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure to speak to you and an honour. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,